As the Coachella Valley continues to grow as an entertainment and cultural empire in the California desert cities, Mutual 111 is your go-to for local and regional arts, literature, music, special events, and theater. From the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Palm Springs, it's The Desert Scene with Bonnie G.
And welcome to The Desert Scene. Happy to have you here, and really happy to welcome Michael Fietsam, who is the creator, founder, King Poobah of PS Underground, which is a wonderful, he'll tell you all about it, one-of-a-kind culinary musical experience. And he's going to tell us about what's coming up with this group. Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell people, if you're, I think you'd have to be living in a cave not to have heard of PS Underground at this point. But tell us a little bit about what it is and how it came to be. This is what, your 10th or 11th year? It's been quite a while, right?
It is. It'll be 11 years in February. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's surprising how long we've been around the desert.
So tell us what it is for folks who haven't partaken.
Sure. So we started PS Underground almost 11 years ago. It was a group of just 14 of our friends around a table in a little rented bungalow up in the Cathedral City Cove, and everyone just threw in enough money to cover the cost of the wine. Mm-hmm. And from there, it kind of built and grew, and we started doing pop-up events all over the desert in art galleries, warehouses, shuttered restaurants, gardens, some private homes. Mm-hmm. And the reason why we named it PS Underground is because guests, when they made their reservation, they wouldn't even know where the event was going to be held. Mm-hmm. At midnight on the morning of the event, they would get an email that would tell them where to show up at, and that's why we called it PS Underground. Mm-hmm. And we did that for about 7 years before we found our new permanent location, which is in downtown Palm Springs across the street from the Ace Hotel. And when we walked into this venue, we just knew it was perfect for us. Mm-hmm. So we've been able to take the venue and convert it into almost an immersive theater experience with state-of-the-art lighting and sound, projection mapping capabilities. And so now we do all of these fun and unique, very diverse, multi-course events around live entertainment with different themes. And so people can go onto our website at psunderground.com and they would purchase seats just like they would a theater seat and come to one of our events.
Now, tell us about your chef, because the food is really, really a big part of this.
Well, thank you. Chef Dave has been kind of tantalizing diners in the desert for years, even before PS Underground. But what makes PS Underground unique is we never really mention the menus in advance. The chef will come out and describe each course just before it's being served, which makes it quite unique and immersive, because usually the courses that the chef has come up with match the particular theme. Mm-hmm. And he has a way of taking food that's kind of comfort food, but elevating it to another level, so that people are still very comfortable with the food that we serve, but it's just a step above what they would expect.
Yeah. And your shows are the people, audience members, participants. They some of it's very interactive, right? With the audience, they're not just sitting there looking up at a stage. It's very interactive, correct?
It really depends on the particular show. Mm-hmm. Some are more, 4-course meals with 4 sets of music in between each course, which would be one of our more traditional shows, and then some other ones are much more audience interactive shows like a sitcom in which the audience is encouraged to play trivia games and table games in between each one of the sets of music, or sing along with some of the theme songs, or an event like Dirty Bingo, in which we play 3 bingo games in between the 3 courses of food. That's a brunch, and that's a really unique event because it's a little bit on the raunchy side. So
I was just going to mention that. I know that you have a couple of shows like that you kind of warn, this is kind of adult, so just be prepared, right?
Right. Well, most of our events are definitely rated PG, and those that are a little bit more on the risque side, our guests are required to sign a waiver that they're not easily offended before they purchase seats. But, what we offer is so unique and diverse. We have a different type show for every type of clientele. So it's interesting how the demographic changes depending on the theme of an event.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you still, now that you have this great permanent venue, it's wonderful, and I've been there, and I've been able to do a couple of charity shows there myself, not PS Underground, but other things. Wonderful venue. Do you ever still get requests from someone who's having, let's say, a big high-end party in some big mansion to come to their location?
We get requests for that, and we've chosen not to do any events outside of our venue anymore, simply because, the way that we structure our events, the lighting and the sound and the projections and the full kitchen are really required in order for us to keep the level of performance and immersive quality to the PS Underground standards. So we do no longer do events off-site.
Okay. And so you have, how large a staff do you have? I know you have a lot of different performers that come in for different shows. You have musicians, and you have some, I guess, regulars like wait staff and bartenders. So how many people does it take to put on one of these?
Well, we have on staff around 15 employees. Mm-hmm. Usually there's anywhere between 9 and 12 people working each particular event. Mm-hmm. And then as far as performers are concerned, in the year 2023, I think we have hired well over 100 different performers for different shows. So there's a lot of people coming in and out of PS Underground to make our events happen.
And the themes, I mean, obviously you're a very creative person to come up with this to start with, but do you wake up at like 3 a.m. and say, aha, I just have a new idea for a new theme for a show?
Absolutely. We're constantly kind of reinventing PS Underground and creating new events. We have so many of our regular clientele that have been to more than 20, 30, 50 different events. And so we're always trying to keep it fresh so that our repeat clientele have new things to see, but also to keep it fresh for us as well, because we're creative people. And without that element of being able to come up with great new ideas, we would become stagnant. So we're constantly working on.
Speaking of that, tell us just a little bit about your background. Are you a desert native, a California native? Have you always been involved in theater and restaurants?
Sure. So I was born in Northern California, just north of San Francisco. And in my formative years, high school, junior high school, and even my first few years of college, I really dedicated myself to theater. I did a lot of directing, producing, technical directing, acting, and touring with different shows. And, of course, as an actor, you supplement your income usually by working as a waiter in a restaurant. So that was always a fallback. And what I realized in the restaurant business is that the restaurant business is so much like being on stage. You turn on the lights right before the guests arrive, and you're on stage through the entire evening. So the second half of my life kind of took me in the direction of restaurant management. I worked in high-end corporate food and beverage for casinos for a number of years, and just came to the point where I thought to myself, it's time for me to do something on my own for myself. And so my partner and I decided, okay, we're going to try this. And it's the marriage of my two loves, both theater and the restaurant business, and done in a way that I've never seen done before. It's just very unique. And so I'm really living my dream job.
Yeah. That's great. That's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to do that. So tell us a little bit about some upcoming events here. I know you have Bite, Killer Prom, and then Light. Tell us a little bit about some things you have coming up.
Sure. So just in November alone, we have several different themed events. But Bite starts tonight. This is a Killer Prom. It's featuring the Gand Band. And a lot of our events are theme-oriented like our Halloween events. So people will come all dressed up, and it's just a kick. So that's tonight and October 31st. On November 3rd is our event Light, which is a show that we've been doing since 2014. It's an avant-garde dinner theater piece in which you never quite know what to expect. We kind of video DJ the evening, and so not even we know exactly what's going to happen. We just have a way of kind of gauging the audience and taking them on a journey that is loosely based on different types of light. And that's a 7-course dinner. Then we're doing an event which has become very popular on November 9th called Cabaret Confidential. So we have the pleasure of working with a lot of different cabaret performers. And so we started to do this Cabaret Confidential, in which we bring in a world-class cabaret performer, but we don't tell the audience who the performer is until they come onto the stage. And we've had some great past Cabaret Confidential performers, but we're really looking forward to that on November 9th.
Excellent.
And so, yeah, we have all other kinds of themes. Bohemia, which is a nomadic gypsy dinner on the 11th. Jukebox, which is a Sunday brunch in which the guests provide the list of songs that we will be singing for that brunch. And we follow that up with November 19th for Songbirds. Songbirds is the iconic music of female singers from the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Mm-hmm. And then that raunchy Dirty Bingo, which is always a huge success. It's a little bit on the nasty side and kind of even makes me blush, but people come back to it over and over again.
All right. And so for tickets, psunderground.com, is that the best way for people to find out about tickets for shows?
Absolutely, yeah. You just purchase them like you would a theater seat at psunderground.com.
Oh, well, Michael Fietsam, thank you so much. And someday down the road, maybe I'll get to do a PS Underground show. I would love to, because it sounds like such fun.
We would love to have you. And thank you so much for thinking about us for this wonderful podcast.
Absolutely. Well, continued success with PS Underground. It's a great concept, and really enjoyed having you here. Thank you so much. Michael Fietsam. All right. And we'll see the rest of you the next time on The Desert Scene.
Join us again for The Desert Scene with Bonnie G. from Mutual 111. Be sure to visit thedesertscene.com for more show information, and mutual111.com for our full library of episodes.